Good morning, and happy Aloha Friday from the farm. Welcome to another episode of Thinking Outside the Soil, where I get to talk story and touch on topics about hydroponics and the farmers who grow the crops and creatures we need to eat. And I am your host, Sean Short, sometimes called Seany Alfalfaseed. And thank you for being with us on this beautiful morning. Yesterday, I held another presentation on how we are learning to become savvy chicken farmers and some of the secrets that we've learned by using hydroponic fodder and feeding out this wonderful chicken blended sprouting mix that we are developing. And so today I wanted to talk about the hydroponic workshop that we're going to be teaching here in Greeley on March 2nd. That upcoming class in March is called Hydroponic Fodder for Small Poultry Producers. And it's aimed towards those chicken farmers that have less than 3,000 birds. That is where we draw the line at what it means to be a small poultry producer. So it's pretty significant and a little interesting from an outside perspective that we consider small chicken farmers to be those with less than 3,000 birds. When we think of 3,000 chickens, we tend to think that's quite a bit, but it's not that much. And to put some perspective on maybe how many chickens we would need to supply, the eggs that we eat. So just as an example, a small restaurant that we deal with, one that I generally eat at called the Ranch Restaurant here in Greeley. They're a very popular, busy restaurant, open only from 6 a.m. to 2 p.m. So they do the breakfast and lunch scene. And they said they use around 200 to 300 eggs a day. They have a seating area that holds probably about 50, and they're pretty busy throughout the day. Now, if chickens lay an egg about every 25 hours, that means we'll just say we get an egg a day per chicken. So you can imagine you need at least 200 chickens to serve just one small restaurant. So it's pretty significant to consider when we think of what it means to be a small poultry producer and some of the challenges that they have. But real quick, since I gotcha, if you could be so kind as to leave a review and let me and others know what you've enjoyed or what you might like to hear. And while you're there, give the show a rating. It helps our algorithms and lets others know why they should listen in too. One of the biggest challenges that any farmer has is controlling their costs of operations. And those with animals, the biggest and most significant cost that we have is the feed. So here for our animals, we have fish and we have chickens. And for those of you out there that have chickens and other animals, you likely know as well that feed is a significant cost when producing your livestock. And this is especially true with poultry at small scales. Now, unlike ruminants, poultry and pigs are very reliant on grain-based feeds for their growth and production. And the increasing cost of the grain-based feeds that we've seen, corn and soybean, I should say corn, soybean's not necessarily a grain, but the increasing costs of those corns and grains are going to directly impact how a smaller scale poultry producers purchase our feedstocks. And with those rising costs, we're unable to purchase large quantities of feed at that reduced cost, and it's just essentially limiting our options for sourcing alternative feedstocks. Now, the journey that I've set on most recently has been sparked because producers, and poultry producers specifically, are increasingly looking at how to offset their feed costs by growing other feed and using other methods to raise their chickens. One of the most popular methods that we've seen in social media and on the news, in blog posts and on podcasts, is sprouting for our flocks. And sprouting grain or other seeds in a hydroponic system allows poultry producers to be able to have access to this high quality feed that's not going to be reliant upon the larger grain and legume markets out there. So the workshop that I am conducting in March in conjunction with the CSU Extension, Weld County Extension, is aimed for small poultry producers to learn the basics of poultry nutrition, how to sprout, how to build a fodder system from materials that are easily obtained. Sometimes we like to say, we call these the commercial off-the-shelf type systems or components. So something that can come off the shelf with minimal modification. We don't have to do much work to make it work for them. And along the workshop, it is aimed to be instructional and interactive. And at the end, the attendees are going to be able to leave the workshop with some sprouted seeds and the resources that they need to begin hydroponic fodder production. Hopefully going to give them all of the knowledge that they need to manage and better feed their flock. We're also going to give them a couple different evaluations after the workshop to see how much knowledge they've been able to utilize or been able to keep in their head since they left the workshop. Sometimes we get excited about information, and then once we leave, it leaves our head. So this will be a really great opportunity to see how well we are doing. And it's wonderful when you're working with universities and other government entities that are data driven, because we are definitely interested in how well we can impart this knowledge to the general public. But that is all I have for us on this Aloha Friday. If you've liked what you've heard or want to hear something else in the future, please leave a review or shoot me over an email, Sean at Thinking Outside the Soil. That's SEAN, like Sean Penn. If you want to learn more about how hydroponic fodder is helping farmers save water, improve livestock quality, and become better stewards, get yourself a copy of my book over at thinkingoutsidethesoil.com. If you give me your shipping address, I will rush you a copy within a week. And be on the lookout for more information about this hydroponic fodder workshop on our social media with Blooming Health Farms. You can see that on Facebook. We'll also be popping up these on the Weld County social medias, the different government and CSU related social medias between the county here. It'll be on our social media as well. And then we are going to be giving out some of this information to the Young Farmers Coalition, as well as to the 4-H Poultry Project members. So please reach out to those individuals, reach out to me as well. And thank you for being with us on another episode of Thinking Outside the Soil. Join us again tomorrow. Take care and have a lovely day. Hey, before you go, check out the links below. Leave me a rating and review and follow the show. Don't forget to get yourself some of our Blooming Health blended sprouting mix. Our mix has been shown to get the best eggs and create the healthiest flocks. With feed costs going up, right now's the time to lock in a subscription so that you can get the best eggs without having to go to the grocery store or the feed store anymore. Check out the links below to get yourself some Blooming Health blended sprouting mix.